practitioner as well. So let's welcome Sneha. Sneha, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Vaibhavi and Shraddha, so much for giving this platform to share my love for tarot and mindfulness with your tribe. Uh, so, for those who are here today, I would first love to know how familiar you are with tarot.
I can probably say that I've heard of it. I know of people practicing it, but I've never actually put my hands on it. So, I'm kind of like intrigued. I'm quite fascinated by occult sciences and that. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, so looking forward to it. Thank you.
Okay. And Shraddha knows tarot because I have taught her that.
Yeah, getting the hang of it, but yeah,
And interestingly, I have learned tarot from my mother when she was here when I had moved from Vegas to Atlanta 8 years ago. So I love tarot as a tool for connecting with others and for self-care. I'm a very pro mindfulness meditation and mindfulness tools a practitioner, and I love to use mindfulness for journaling, for self-care practices, and I love how tarot can fit into that. I know that tarot has a reputation of being an occult science and being known for use by psychics and things like that, but it does have a place in mindfulness and healing.
Yeah. I am. All these things quite fascinate me. I practice Reiki. I practice space alchemy. The Vastu. And then I'm also Kriyaban. And I do a lot of meditation and mindfulness. So this is really something that I was looking forward to. So thank you for holding this and having this.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining and being here today and being open to learning. So let's get started with this. So this agenda is more for me to stick to the topic and not talk about many different things. So we're going to learn a little bit about why we are going to learn about tarot today, what tarot is, what are the different types of cards that are present in the tarot deck, and then we will go through the time is short today to learn a lot of tarot, so I'm going to give you just a little bit of introduction to the major arcana, which I'll tell you what that means, and then we'll do a few group exercises together, and then I'll share you more ways of how to use tarot for yourself every single day, and then we'll take any questions. And I love to make my sessions interactive, so at any point if you have questions, if you want to say something, just unmute yourself or put your hand up and let us know that you want to say something, and I'll be open to listening to that. So why tarot? So tarot, as I said, it helps us with self-reflection. When you are looking at those cards, the messages that come to you, the symbols that you see, they all help you to become more self-aware of what your thoughts and feelings are. They can provide a way to meditate and feel calm. They help a lot with anxiety. They can help with problem solving or decision making. And one of the exercises today is going to be about decision making and how to use tarot for that. And they can also be used for intuition development and strengthening your intuitive abilities. The more self-aware you become, the more aware you are of your surroundings, of things that are happening around you, the more intuitive you are about all the things that are around you, and the more attuned you are to the nature, right? So that helps you as a person, as a leader, as a self-development person to improve your decision making abilities, improve your self-awareness, and take you into further into your emotional healing. And it also empowers you to take charge of your life. And we will learn a little introduction of how you can do that today. But before that, let's see what tarot is. So tarot is a system of cards. It has 78 cards. right? And the cards are divided into 2 sections. You can sometimes say that they are divided into 3 sections, where the first section is called Major Arcana. And let me know if I'm going too fast, I can slow down. If I'm going too slow, then I can go faster. So the 78 cards are divided between 22 cards of Major Arcana. The Major Arcana cards are numbered from 0 to 22. And we are going to get a little bit more familiar with those cards today. But what these cards represent are a cycle of you a cycle of experiences that we go through in our lives. They are different archetypes that you can see in the world that are unconsciously present in our world, in our environment. So for any adventure that you go on, or any new path that you take, you will see that you have gone through these 22 archetypes during that phase from 0 to where the peak was. And you will see how. But that is basically what the Major Arcana means. The Minor Arcana look more like a card set, like playing cards, how you have spades, you have hearts and diamonds, right, in your playing cards. Similarly, the Minor Arcana consists of cards that have 4 different suits. These 4 suits are cups, coins, or pentacles, wands, and swords, and they represent different things. And I will talk about it later a little bit. It's too much to learn tarot today, so I'm not going to teach the entire system of tarot. It's not possible in an hour, but we will get to understand a little bit more of what tarot is, so you are more familiar with those cards and are not afraid to use them, touch them, or if you are excited about it, I want to make sure that today at the end of this presentation you are able to pick up cards and read them without knowing anything about them. So let's familiarize ourselves with the Major Arcana. So here I will take you through the story of Major Arcana. So these are 22 cards that will quickly go through in the form of story. So you will get some idea of the pictures of the cards. And then and after the story, then we'll work with them. So you'll get even more excited about it. So what I would say for the story is to look, every time I change the slide, look at the picture of the card, and then make sure that when I am telling you the story about that card, which are a few sentences, you see if you can map the picture and does it match that story, right? So just have that awareness in you. You don't have to do it, but just to help you get familiarized with it. And you don't have to learn it, you don't have to do anything, you just have to be present. Okay, so this is a story of the fool who began his adventure with his white dog on a bright sunny day. He was thrilled about his new journey into the wild and the unknown. On his journey, he met the magician, his mentor. Magician had powers to summon all elements and manifest things out of nothing. The possibilities were endless. The fool apprenticed and learned about these powers from the magician. The fool then further learned the power of intuition and sacred knowledge of the Torah from the high priestess. On his journey, the fool remembered the teachings of self-care, nurture, and abundance from his mother, the empress. He learned the qualities of receiving, creativity, and elegance, and was grateful to his mother. He also made sure he balanced the masculine qualities he learned from his father, the emperor. He learned the value in having discipline and structure to his daily life. He was grateful for these teachings. The fool then made sure he received guidance from the Hierophant about rules and regulations of the way of life. He wanted to make sure he included spiritual and religious aspects in his life. But soon he decided to defy the rules and follow his heart. On that pursuit, he found someone he could share his life with, a soulmate, a lover, someone whom he found solace in. All equipped with tools and teachings of his mentors, parents, and lovers, Fool was ready to stride ahead in his path with courage and conviction. He was ready for what came next. Or was he? One thing was sure, whatever it was, he would need to know that he had the inner strength to face it all. He just needed to have patience and compassion on his way ahead. Equipped with all the knowledge, love, and courage, he thought he needed something else. He took some time to be alone and dig deeper for meaning of life. He started the journey of soul searching. He realized that life was all about karma. What seeds he sowed, those are the ones he would reap. Only time could tell what his next step would look like. He knew whatever it was going to be, it would be fair.
Thank you.
Let me
Sorry
share my
about that once
presentation
again. Yeah, go
again.
ahead.
Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. So the fool now found things around him changing. The patterns that no longer were needed left. There were things he saw in his journey, things to be experienced that he wanted to let go of. And he realized that this was a time of transition. Time called for more balance and moderation of everything. More patience was needed in his journey of finding purpose. Temptations were all around. He was succumbed with materialism, addiction, and bondage, drifted away from purpose. Foundations were shaken. The fool realized that he had been a fool. Running behind materialism and addiction was not his path. Things hit rock bottom. But after rock bottom comes healing and hope. He decided to come back to his spiritual knowledge and focus on renewing his spirit and strength. He realized he still had a lot of subconscious fears and insecurities about his path, and his healing continued. Slowly, he started seeing success on his path. He could rejoice his learnings and enjoy the fruits of his knowledge and execution. He basked in this positivity. It felt like a rebirth. He finally understood his calling, his purpose, and what he was meant to do in this world. The journey of the fool was complete. He was no longer a fool. He had mentors, knowledge, he even had scars and healing. He was ready to take on the world and integrate the knowledge he learned in his journey. This was the journey through the major arcana of 22 cards. Let me know, as you heard the story, minus the hijack, what have you seen? What symbols or what part of the stories felt familiar to you in your life? For example, we may all have hit rock bottom at some point. We may all have found a mentor that really changed our life. We may have found that after hitting rock bottom, things actually start coming in a different direction. So each of these archetypes or these cards are a view or a viewpoint in different phases of a cycle. And this cycle repeats every time, not in every different aspect or new project or new learning that you take. And when you learn your lessons, you will see these cards changing for you. Okay. So now let's do our first exercise, which is a self-reflection plus an intention setting kind of an exercise. But before that, if you had to share something about the earlier part, please let me know. All right. So before we start this exercise, we'll do a quick meditation to center ourselves again. So close your eyes for a minute. See if your feet can touch the ground. Your back straight. Notice your breath at the nostrils. And open your eyes and ask yourself a question. What energy do I need today? And once you ask that question, look at these 3 cards and see which card speaks to you the most. What energy do I need today? And then look at the cards and let me know which card speaks to you at the moment. And then I'll tell you what to do with that.
Yeah, are we looking at the words or the card pictures?
The pictures.
So should we say the first card, second card, or third card, or what it says on the card?
You can see what it says on the card. Let me know which card you're drawn to the most. You can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and let me know. Strength, temperance, magician. Okay. Now you all have these different cards that you're looking at, which is great. What I want you to do is look at the card that you're most drawn to and write down, if you have a paper or pen, or write down in the chat, what are the words that come to you when you look at these cards? Forget about the word that's written on the card. Like, look at the card, look at the picture, and then think about what you see and what words come to you.
This is for the one that we are drawn to originally,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm seeing infinity,
Mm-hmm.
Abundance,
Mm-hmm.
This is Venal, and I chose temperance, and I see transfer of positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
I see calm.
Okay.
Yeah, I see tranquility.
Tranquility.
Nurturing.
Mhm.
Transformation.
Transformation. Awesome. So see, you guys are reading the cards already. So the idea is to look at the card and ask yourself, what energy do I need today? So the words that came to you, right? Those are the energies that you should focus on for today, since you asked that question. So some people said tranquility, calm. Someone said infinity and abundance, right? So those are your words for today for you to set an intention with. So this is one way of using tarot cards for your setting your intentions, for understanding what your energy should be for the day, and how intention setting helps. So intention setting helps you every day by helping you to come back to the center when you are, say you are not feeling calm, but your word for the day was calm, and you have that tarot card somewhere for today. Every time you go to that, you remember that I have to do things that keep me calm, or I have to make sure that I am doing things from a place of abundance and not from lack. Or today I have to show courage. When if you chose the strength, I have to show strength, I have to show courage. No matter how much I'm pushed, I have to show courage today and make sure that I stand up for myself. So these cards are going to give you that intention. So if you start feeling meek, if you start feeling afraid, you know that this was your intention, and it gives you that strength to move forward in your path. Right? The second way to use these cards is by writing down how would you embody those qualities in you. So some of you said tranquility, some of you said abundance, right? So now you can journal further, dig deeper, next level, where you can ask yourself, how can I embody these qualities today? How can I show strength today? How can I show abundance today? How can I show tranquility or balance today? Or how can I be more calm? And these questions can further help you to set your tone for the day, right? So this is a mix of mindfulness, journaling, and symbolism together. So based on your cards, for today, I'm giving you one more journaling question specific to your card. So you can do that. So for the ones who chose temperance, I want you to write, which areas of life do I need more balance in? And I can put that in the, oh, there are more comments here. So somebody said words are filling a cup, angel and sun. Okay, Vaibhavi said that, and Shraddha said infinity, taming, nature, feminine energy. Awesome. So which, for temperance, your journaling question today is, in which areas of life or strength? For strength, you have, in what areas of my life do I need more courage and patience in? And for the magician, which skills do I have that can help me get through my current challenge? And then let me know if you would like to share these questions, the answers to these questions with all of us. You can unmute and share, or you can message in the chat. Anybody wants to share? I see Panna has unmuted.
Thinking positive, and being optimistic.
Okay. Anyone else? I see somebody in the chat. Some organizational conflicts, patience towards people, thinking positive. Anyone else?
So just a small clarification. The words that I thought of, are those the challenge that I should think of?
You can think of those as a challenge. The exercise was, so those could be the skills that you can develop for your current challenge.
Okay.
So your word was temperance, right? The card was temperance.
Tranquility, nurturing, and transformation.
Okay. So those are the qualities that you can embody for your current challenge.
Okay.
And you can dig deep further, like how can I nurture myself? How can I bring tranquility today? Like you can go ahead and ask yourself more specific questions as you dig down, right? Because yes, I can say that I need more tranquility, but what does that mean to me? How can I give it to myself? Does that mean that I can go meditate? Does that mean that I go for a walk? Does that mean that I open my tarot cards today and journal? What does that mean to you? So personalize it as much as possible. The more clear you are about your actions that you can do, it's going to be easier for you to take action, right? We can say, oh, I want to be calm today, but how are you going to be calm today? I want to be courageous today. How are you going to do that for yourself? So how can you embody these qualities gives you a little bit more, it's like a more deeper question for you to be able to get to the exact steps.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So I can say I have courage, patience, and perseverance that can help me get through being tranquil and nurture myself towards transformation.
Yeah. You can say that, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions? Okay. How you can use this exercise at home every day is you can close your eyes, become calm, focus on your breath, or if you have a meditation practice, you can follow that. And after that meditation practice, or after centering yourself, you can pick up a card from your deck, and that card can be your intention for the day. It could be something that you either need to embody or something that you need to let go of, right? Depending on the energy of the card. So some cards have I hate to use the word positive and negative, but some cards do have a little bit more positive or embodying energy, and some cards have a letting go energy. So depending on that, you can phrase your intentions in that way. And you don't need to know the name, you don't need to know any meanings of the card. You can see the picture and you can understand the symbol, right? We can all look at different things in the world and understand what they mean. Sometimes you might find people watching a movie of a very different language that they don't know anything about, but just by the gestures of those, you can understand what might be going in that movie, right? Similarly, for these cards, there are 78 cards. We only looked at 22 cards today. If you ended up buying a tarot deck or go Google anywhere and say pull a card and you see a card, you don't need to know the meaning. You can see the card and see what energy you think when you look at it brings to you. That's the intuition that you can develop. And then if you're interested in learning more about symbolism, then you can go find a mentor, then you can learn the cards, then you can go behind the meanings. But to use it for self-care, you don't need to learn any meanings. You just need to be able to be completely self-aware and aware of the picture and see like what qualities you can get out of that drawing or that image. Meenal, you have a question? Go ahead.
So what if you don't, for a card that is pulled up, right? It doesn't give you the vibe that you're looking for the day. It doesn't align with what you're feeling or what you're totally a different kind of card. Does that happen?
Let me understand your question. So you're asking what happens if you pull a card that does not align with what you're thinking?
Correct,
right?
for that day, yes, or it's totally out of line with what I am going through the day or what my thoughts are. And does that happen?
It depends on what you're wanting from the card, and if you go with an expectation, then of course it's going to not meet your expectations, right? You have to keep your expectations away when you're looking at tarot cards. But if something does not resonate to you right now, it is completely okay for you to not look at that card at the moment and say that for some reason I'm not understanding why this card came up today. And after 10 days, you might know that this was the card meant for you, or you might know that that card in some way is going to take shape or form, or is going to not take shape and form because of the choices that you make. And now we are going a little bit deeper into tarot, which is not for this session. But if you see something that you don't resonate with, it's completely okay to not take it. You are completely, like, I believe tarot cards can help you as much as you want them to be helped. But at that point, if you are not resonating with the card, it's completely okay to say, I don't understand this. I don't think this is relevant. And I'll just pull a card tomorrow and see what happens. I'll just change the energy.
You don't pull a different card. You just do it.
Yeah, you don't pull the card at that point again. You just let go and then come tomorrow and shuffle the cards and pull it again and see what comes up. Or you can leave that card on the side and go through the day or through the week and see if that any of that energy showed up or what was it. So like 70% of the time, you will know why that card was pulled. Okay. And sometimes things do make sense in the rare, right? In the vision is 2020 is what we say, right? So sometimes things don't make sense in the present moment. Vaibhavi, you have a question?
I do. In fact, it was somewhat similar to Meenal's, but I was looking at it almost from a different, same question asked in a different way. Is it that when you draw a card, essentially, regardless of, I don't know tarot, so I don't know what the meanings are, but regardless of what that card is, it's my subconscious almost helping me understand uh, uh, and gravitating me towards something on that card, which I don't know, I'm not even articulating my question, right? But is it almost like you are answering your own subconscious and being pulled in the direction regardless of what that card actually means?
Yes. So tarot does a few things. So it does show the subconscious, right? So sometimes things happen in our life and we don't understand like why they are happening, or they may be hidden, right? You want to make some decisions, you're not sure. There might be some hidden aspects to it, or somebody said something to you and you're quite not sure why they said that. There are some hidden aspects to it, right? So those things in the subconscious, tarot can show those to you, and yes, you will gravitate to those cards. That's one way of using tarot. And the other way of using tarot is definitely like some people use it for future telling, foretelling, etc., etc. How I feel about that is, while you can predict future if you wanted to with tarot, everybody is at a choice point. So if today you make a certain choice, you might be able to see those outcomes in tarot. But if you change that choice, your future will change. So the choice making is in our hands. It's not in the hands of tarot. That's why tarot can easily fail in telling anybody's future. It can only help in the present moment.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Shraddha has a question.
So I, more than a question, actually, I just wanted to share one experience. So after I learned tarot from Sneha, and Sneha is, by the way, my sister. I forgot to mention earlier. But when I learned tarot from Sneha, Sneha had also gifted me a oracle card deck, and next day I shuffled the cards and I pulled a card and I read it. I kept it, and then I just had a thought like, let me test the cards, or let me see what comes after a few days. So after a few days, to my surprise, I mean, I shuffled them again. I shuffled them many times, but I got the same card again. so then I was like, okay, I'm not going to doubt this anymore.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. And I love what you shared about experimenting and testing. I am an engineer too, and I love testing, and I have tested the cards also. So I take everything with like a little bit of, what do you say? But I give everything a benefit of doubt and then test it with. So tarot and some other tools that I use have come back to me with like more certainty and more clarity. So that's why I use them. But I would let all of you can go buy a tarot deck and experiment to how much ever of your liking, because I definitely promote that. You should test things for yourself, and if they don't work for you, you should not use them. But if they work for you, you should move forward with them. Vaibhavi, do you have another question, or was that
Yes, actually, I did have another question, but I forgot to put my hand down. So let me do that first. And I punched the question in chat as well. Is there a particular brand of tarot cards, or do you just go on Amazon, Google tarot cards, and buy whatever shows up first?
Okay, that's a good question. So the system of tarot that I use is a Rider-Waite deck, RIDER. Let me write it down in the chat. Rider-Waite system. So in that system, you can find a lot of different artists who have done a lot of different illustrations. But the most basic version of Rider-Waite cards will have like these kind of images that I have shared with you. And it will be the same system. There's a difference between tarot and oracle cards. Oracle cards are more created by people. They don't have a system to it. It's just every oracle deck is its own system. You have to either understand it and learn it, or you can just pull. They all come with a guidebook like this. I have this tarot deck. Can you see this? I have this tarot deck, Light Seers Tarot. It's still Rider-Waite system, but all of its cards look really different. So they have different imageries. So they could be like, so all these artists, let me see. All the artists and illustrators have like their ways of putting images, but everything comes with a guidebook. Sorry about my.
That's fine. You have a table there,
Actually, I
the
can
other
just,
one. You
yeah,
can just put it
this,
on that.
yeah.
So there's no anything is fine as long as you follow the guidebook, essentially.
So yeah, so to start with, you can follow the guidebook and slowly you can get your own intuitive words, right? So when we did this exercise where we looked at temperance or strength or magician, and we found our own words to it, right? So in your daily practice, you can also have like a way of looking at a card and writing down what all words come to you. So then those will be your words. They don't have to necessarily match with the Rider-Waite deck. They'll be a little similar, but you can then make them your own, right? By the words that you choose, by the feelings that you have, by the experiences that you get based on that intention you set from that card. So there are a lot of different tarot systems, but the one that I use primarily is Rider-Waite system. Okay, so exercise 2 is decision making. And for that, I might get up from here and go to the other table to pull cards. For this one, I want to show you different ways of how you could make a decision. If you have any questions or any choices that you have decisions for, I can do like 1 or 2 of these just to give you an idea, and then we could go through like different ways of different card spreads that you can use for yourself every day. But if there's a volunteer who wants some decisions and would love some reading, then let me know in the comments, or you can raise your hands and then we can take your question. It doesn't have to be very, since we are recording this, it doesn't have to be too personal. It can be something very simple that you don't mind sharing with others. It can be as simple as, should I drive to work today or go by bicycle tomorrow and walk, or whatever. Like, just make it very simple so we can all take a see chat. Anybody has a question?
If nobody has a question, I'm happy to volunteer with a question, Sneha.
Me, actually, yeah. Actually, I do.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay, go ahead. And for a moment, I'm going to move from my desk here, and I'm going to move towards the cards so I can pull cards for you there.
Is this a good time to spotlight those cards too, Sneha, before you remove your headphones?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I'm writing it just on the chat. Is that okay? I'm not naming the project or anything, but I'm just is that okay?
Yeah, you don't have to tell any details.
Okay.
That maybe for your project you have an option 1, 2, and 3, and which is better, or something like that.
So yeah, it's a project has come by my way, and I just want to know if I should proceed with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes. Can we make that screen the center screen somehow? I don't know how to.
Yeah, I think we'll have to spotlight her card screen way.
I have already.
Oh, I can't see it.
I can stop sharing if needed. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can see it. Now I can
Yeah.
see it.
If you just look at the first screen, it should be this table.
Yeah. But we cannot make it big, right? Like full screen?
I think, Sneha, are you going to, this is the most it can go?
That's fine.
There's no ability to zoom in further unless, Sneha, if there's a camera that you can bring
no need to
closer.
zoom in. I haven't placed my cards yet. Just wait for 1 second. Okay.
I think this is fine. Yeah, thanks.
So can you tell me your question one more time?
Yes, a project has come by my way. Should I proceed with it?
Okay. So one thing is that it's a yes and no question. You can ask those, but they don't give as much depth to your reading. So how I would frame it is a project has come my way, and what can the cards tell me more about it? In case
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Interesting. Okay, so you guys can see, I'm going to keep them like this. These are very interesting cards. Can you guys see it? Do you want me to zoom them?
We can see it. You might want to just shift them slightly to the right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And if you can zoom them, we might be able to see it more clearly. I mean, we can see the cards, but if we want to see it more clearly, then probably, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, that's good.
And shift them up now.
Now you shift them a little bit up. Yeah.
And more to the right. Okay.
Good. Okay. So what these cards represent is first is the opportunity. The question, the opportunity, challenges, and the outcome. And interestingly, for the question, the card came out was Ace of Pentacles, and this is a card of an opportunity, so it's very interesting. So you can see a hand coming out of the clouds and giving you a gold coin, right?
Right.
So that means that there's an opportunity presenting itself that may have the ability of making money in the future. But this is just the first of Pentacles, right? So this is just sharing that this is an opportunity. Just by this card itself, it doesn't tell you where you're going. It will just say that, oh yes, it's an opportunity.
Right.
If you would have asked a yes and no question and you didn't have these three and only that, then you wouldn't know much about that. You would just say that, yes, oh yeah, sure, I can go with this project, right? But you wouldn't know anything about what that project could bring, what challenges you could have, and how the outcome would look like.
Right.
Right? So that's why you ask, instead of a yes and no question, you frame it differently. It's like you would frame it as an open-ended question. The opportunity is the magician. The magician has tools here, right? So it has an infinity symbol and it has tools. It has a cup, a coin, a sword, and a wand. So the magician is known to have tools and skills that can create something out of nothing, right? What this tells me is that the opportunity in your project is to be able to use the skills that you already have.
Okay.
The skills that you already have, you might not need to acquire new skills. You might be able to use the skills that you already have. In this position, you might have great mentors. The magician is a mentor card too. So in this position, you'll have great mentors that you could learn from.
Yeah.
Move ahead. This is a challenge card. And interestingly, it is swords. You can see this woman with her head in her hand. She's lying and there are like all these swords here, right?
Okay.
By image, it looks like a very, well, you tell me how it looks like to you.
Not very painful, very not very optimistic, and I think yeah, challenging.
So it does tell me that this will bring you a lot of challenges. And
Okay.
since the eyes are closed, it means that the person who's asking this question is not ready to face the reality of these challenges and has a lot of self-doubt.
Okay.
So there are tools as mentors, but what you will have to work on is your self-doubt in this particular project.
Oh, self-doubt.
It will
Okay.
come with challenges. So are you ready to face these challenges, or will you close your eyes and run away or not want to take action? Right? So are you ready for that challenge is what it's telling you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This. Right? And this is the outcome, right? So it tells that you have a mentor, you have tools, you have challenges. But if you are ready to face the challenges, then you will be able to see, this is 9 of Cups. It's a card of fulfillment. So you'll be able to see fulfillment in this project if you are able to see that you have to move your self-doubt, and if you're ready to work with your self-doubt.
Okay.
So based on this card, this is one way of making a decision, is to see these cards and see, am I ready to face challenges? If not, I didn't want to take this project, right? But if I am, if I have the time and the patience needed, the perseverance needed to take on to these challenges, then yes, I will take this, right? Sometimes you are in a position where you don't want to face challenges. You already have enough challenges going on. You just want it to be a simpler thing. But sometimes you are at a place where you want those challenges in your job, where everything else is going right and you want those challenges at work. So at that time, you make that decision. So the cards are not telling you what you should do or should not do. They're just giving you an idea of what could happen. And based on, they're not telling you that this is the decision. They're telling you that based on what you are looking at, these are the things that could happen. This is the outcome. But the choice is again in your hands.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that help?
That helps very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. The other way to make a decision, if you have more than one option going on, say that you had two projects coming up and you had to choose between one, or 3 projects coming up, choose between 2, right? So you could either say you had 2 options. So if you had 2 options, you could say that, okay, card 1 represents option 1, card 2 represents option 2. Okay, so card 1 represents option 1, card 2 represents option 2. Then this would show that it's right based on, and I don't want to go deeper into cards, but I'm just going to tell you how to figure that, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at the meanings of the cards, it will tell you this is 3 of Pentacles, and 3 of Pentacles is usually a way of learning with others in a group or meetings, right? So it's a lot of collaboration energy. Whereas number 2 is of lot of decisions that are going to be in the mind. So even after you take this project, you're going to end up with being in 2 minds again, right? So this will bring an energy of collaboration. This 2 of Swords might bring some more doubts, some more thought processes. So this is one way of reading the options. The other way of reading options is doing a pros and cons list with the help of cards. Like you can always do it by yourself, but if you want help of cards, then you say option 1. Sorry, I'm shuffling cards on the side. You say option 1, pros. I am definitely craving some prawns, I guess. But pros and cons for the first project and pros and cons for the second project, which is very interesting. Okay. So basically you can say that, the pros of the first project would be that it will bring balance in my life, it will bring some calm. This is not exactly a con, but number two might, it's a card of partnerships. So it's not exactly a con, but you will have to work in partnership with someone. So if you are in a place where you don't want a partnership, then it might be a con, but it's not exactly a con, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The pro of this, now you will say that this shows death, and then why is this a pro? So the death card does not always mean a physical death, it means transformation. So if you take this card, it could turn to be a transformative step for your career. So that's the pro in this. And this might, since it's a water card, it might end up being more emotionally challenging in this role because it comes with so much of a transformation. There is a way that it could mean that you would have to do a lot of emotional healing, you would have to go through a lot of feelings and things that might happen to yourself, right? In the process. So that's option one. Option two, and then you decide on what feels good for you. If you are open to transformation and healing and moving forward, then that's your path. If you are open to partnerships, if you're open to more balance in life, you don't want much transformation, you just want to be in a good place, this is the option.
Okay. That's a great help. Yeah. Thank you.
I think Vayi also had a question, Sneha. She has.
Okay. Is it written in the chat? Because I was not here on this side, so I haven't.
Unfortunately, I can say my question. My question was, as you were reading the cards for, I think Panna's first question, would it have been okay if I had a similar or same question and I was also is it a person specific drawing that of cards that you would need to do, or
no, since we are
essentially the same question?
Since we are in a group thing today, like these cards can be open to your personal questions that you may have asked during that time. But if you want me to pull specific cards for you separately, I can do that too. But if those resonated with you, it's fine to take those as help for you too.
I see. So there's nothing, it's not like one-on-one only, or
no.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, if I had a questions around there is an initiative, I can do it sooner versus later in the year, which is a better time frame. Is that even a okay question from a tarot perspective, or is that?
Some cards do tell time, so let's see if we can figure that out. Okay. It might be more of an advanced learning, but we can, since you've asked it, we can go through it.
Or maybe, or would the same question of pros and cons apply? Meaning, if I do this initiative sooner, what are the pros, what are the cons, whatever you did last?
Yeah, you could do either. Like you could say, hey, what happens if I do this card sooner? What happens if I do it later?
Okay.
Or what if I do it a little bit more later, right?
Yeah, the cards need to move a little bit on the right and on the top. Yeah, that's good.
Good. Okay, so if you take it sooner, it will feel like you're carrying the burden all by yourself. If you are doing it a little later, maybe like 3 months to 6 months, it will feel like you may have a lot of choices and temptations, so you will have to choose with discernment. Because at that time you might be confused.
Okay.
A better way to do it would be, and this is not exactly a positive card, but it is, let me, so it does have swords, so it will be where you will have some burden that you will carry, but it will not be as much as you're carrying it here, because the water is changing from this to this, like you're moving to calmer waters. So like not immediate, not, but like 6 to 12 months would be a better period. And you could like cards for like say immediately 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, like that, and you can pick cards.
I see.
Do that.
Okay, that's helpful. I think someone else, I mean, Meenal, I think had a question.
Go ahead, Meena.
Yeah, so again, right, trying to be generic here. So I'm going through a very challenging time with one of the family members. Just trying to understand, right? And I've been thinking about making some changes in my life to accommodate that. And it's been very hard for me because of, it's, you are a certain type, and if you're changing is very hard. So just wanted to understand, is it very important for me to make that change right now? And if I don't do it, what might be the repercussions?
Okay, so you can do like a now or later. So with relationships, there are like different readings you can do. So one is you could do where you can say, this is how you're looking at things right now. This is how the other person is looking at things right now. And this is what I need to be doing to manage this situation, right? So, this is one way. If you want me to read, I can read them for you. And then the other way of how you would do it is...
Yeah, you can read this if you are okay.
Okay, so how you are feeling about the situation here is where if you see this person, and I don't know how much you guys can see this cards.
Yeah.
This person is holding a wand, a stick almost, and he's holding it close to himself. He's looking behind, and there are like a lot of sticks behind him, right? So it feels like you are almost watching your back in a lot of ways in this situation. And you are making sure that you are not being backstabbed. You're trying to take care of yourself. You are at, like, it's a card 9. So it's an ending of a cycle where you are at. So it's almost where the hardships that you're facing are almost ready to leave. But you're still towards the end of that. And towards the end also can seem a lot of challenges in that point. So it seems like you are in a very challenging space. It seems that this other person is also feeling that like they're at a rock bottom and things have suddenly shifted for them. And things may have happened that were not foreseen, were very sudden, and it feels like they have been at really a rock bottom. And what the cards want you to do right now is focus more on your inner. So this is the card of the High Priestess. High Priestess is all about intuition and the inner wisdom. And the cards want you to less focus on what the world is saying, less focus on what is going around you, and more focus on your inner self, what your intuition tells you. Like, we all have a gut feeling, right? So what your gut feeling tells you, like, be more open to understanding that, be more open to learning more about from your intuition, and maybe journaling will help you to get like what that inner wisdom is for you in this situation. because if you're going to look for answers outside of you, you might get like 1,000 answers and they'll leave you confused. So you have to have that courage to listen to your inner self. Does that help?
Meenal, you're muted, I think. Are you here?
I'm so sorry, Abby. Sorry. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you so much. I was talking all this while I didn't realize I was muted.
No problem.
There's one more question, Sneha.
Uh-huh.
It's from Ram's fiance Rupali. She has a question. You can go ahead. Is it okay if she goes ahead? Okay, he has typed it. To support parents in India over the phone on their daytime, will I be getting any job to work nearby?
Okay, that's a yes and no question. You can ask Tarot yes or no questions. That's fine. How yes and no questions work is by you giving a meaning of positive and negative to the card and then picking up the card and seeing if a yes comes or no comes. Right? So this is a 6 of wands. It's a motion card. It means that things could already be in work for this to happen. And it's a yes card because you see this wreath and it's like a victory card. So it's a yes card. So there is a possibility. But personally, like yes and no is something that I don't like to read for others. But this is something that you can get from tarot, and the answer right now shows as yes.
He says thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you.
Okay. So you can take the spotlight off. Okay,
There is one more question, Sneha.
Okay.
It's from Hema. That is Vidrane. She's Hema. Looking for girl for my. When will I see the results?
Okay. When? You guys are making me read for you, okay? So my whole reason of this is for you to read them yourself. But sure, I'll read this for you.
Thank you, Sneha. This is a very insightful session.
So the cards that I'm pulling are looking very positive. So it feels like, so if you can see this card, it has a lot of sun and clear skies. So it looks like summer to fall. And I pulled a second card to make sure. So this was also like very yellow. So I would say summer to fall. So yeah, there could be a good news coming soon to you.
So Sneha, I have a question, right? So you pulled like 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, right? Based on the question. And with experience and the interpretation you had for the questions, right? A lot of sense, right? Somebody like us who are, don't even know the T of tarot, right?
Right.
It will take time, right? I think definitely, with the intention setting, I think that's the first step, but it takes a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for you guys to start doing this, what I have done is, let me go back to sharing my screen. Can you see this?
Am I spotlighting you back, Sneha?
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, we can say.
Okay, so so I can give you, and this is something that I'm going to share with Vaibhavi and Shraddha so they can share it with you in the email. Is I'm going to share with you 3 card spreads to help you get unstuck in situations like this. Some cheat ways of reading, so you don't have to like think about, oh, how am I going to pull cards? What do I need the first question to be, second question to be, third question to be? So to take all that out, I will be sharing with you questions that you can ask tarot, some ways to do your journaling, and then the 3 card spreads. And how you can read them is every tarot deck comes with this what do you call it, a guidebook, right? So even if you don't know the meanings, the one way would be to look at the card and see how you feel. That's one way, right? We did that earlier. That was our first way of reading cards that I taught you, was to just look at any card and see how positive or negative I feel by looking at cards and what words come to me, right? And that's your intuition. But if you are not ready to look at that and say that, oh, this is my intuitive, but I don't still trust it yet, right? And that happens when you are learning these new. So that is when you open the guidebook. Every card has a number. Okay, I should have been on the other screen maybe. But every card has a number and a name. So you can go to that name and number in the guidebook and see what the system is telling you, right? And to begin with, you read it using the system. You don't have to put everything in your head. You read it with the system. And once you get used to the cards, then you're going to be able to read it without the system. But just looking at your intuition is more than fine to get what you want to start with. You're not reading the cards for others, right? This is right now, you're just learning for yourself, just getting into a habit of picking up the cards because you're interested in using them as your self-care activity, and just getting familiar with them and helping them for your own benefit. Like you have anxiety, or if you have decisions that you don't know how to make, or we always have some confusion or the other going on. We are living this life, we always have something going on, so this helps us with that anxiety that we may have. That's how the situation presents. So the 3 cards spreads that we can use is, one is problem, do this, don't do this. So the problem card will tell us, this is how our problem is looking like to us. The do this card will tell us, okay, these are the things that we should do. Don't do this will tell us, okay, I need to let go of this. I should not be doing this, right? So based on what cards you pull for these 3 positions, that is what you get from it. Or you can do obstacle, advice, or outcome. You can say that I'm going to pull 3 cards. My first card is going to be at obstacle. My second card is going to tell me the advice. And the third card is going to tell me the outcome if I follow this advice. You can also pull a 4th card and say that this is going to be my outcome if I don't follow this advice. Okay. If you have relationship issues, you can say you, your partner, your relationship. And how is all this looking to you right now? Or if you had like Panna had a project coming up. So how does this opportunity look like? What are the challenges? What will be the outcome? Or if you have 3 options, then what's option 1, option 2, or option 3, right? Or when can I do this project? Option 1 is 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months. You can pull up option 4, option 5, whatever. Or if you have 10 projects that you need to make one choice of, then you could pull 10 cards and say that option 1 is going to look like this, option 2 is going to look like this. Do it for every option and then decide which is the option best for you based on those cards. You could also do some self-development questions like you, your path, that you are following right now, and what's your potential based on the path that you're following. So how can you use tarot by yourself starting today, right? So one way is to set intentions using the one card pull. So one card pull, you can do it by buying a tarot deck. You don't have to go buy a tarot deck. I'm telling you, you can Google tarot websites. There'll be thousands that come up, and you can just ask that tarot website to pull a card for you, and they'll pull a card for you, right? You'll find a lot of my website is not set to do that right now, but I know that in 2 months I have that app. I just have to set it up, so we'll be able to do that on my website too. But you can have one card pulls. You don't need to buy a deck to start with until you get used to. But if you love buying decks, you can even go to Barnes and Nobles, and they have tarot decks these days. Or Amazon has tons of them. So one card pull is you set your intention, or you ask a question: what energy do I need to have today? What energy do I need for today? And then you pull a card. Another would be a reflection, right? How can I embody this card in my life today? Simple questions. And I'm going to share some more self-reflection questions with you in a document later when Shraddha and Vaibhavi send you a follow-up email. You can use it for decision making, right? Pull 3 cards, say option 1, option 2, option 3, right? So you can use it for decision making starting today. You don't need to know anything about the cards. You just need to even if you pull online, you can go and find meanings. There are like tons of sites that give you meanings. You don't need to learn anything. Get unstuck 3 card spread. So the 3 card spreads that I shared, I'm also sharing them with you after this class. And then once you are ready to once you feel comfortable, you can also use these cards as connection with your friends. You can, once your friends come over, you can say, hey, I got a tarot deck, would you like to learn something? And you can share your love for tarot with others, and it helps to bring more depth to your conversations. And I've seen that with my friends. So first, when I used to do this for a long time, I had never shared it with anybody that I knew that I know tarot, because tarot does get this psychic label to it. But once I was okay with any labels and I understood what it was and what it meant for me, it was easier to share it with other friends. And I realized that a lot of my friends actually really love tarot, and some of them learned from me. So you never know what is in store for you when you start sharing these things. You might have deeper conversations with your friends and enjoy those conversations. And then as you slowly learn, you can use them for healing your patterns and karma. It's an advanced practice, not for today's session, but these are some things that you can do using tarot for yourself. Let me know if there are any questions that I can answer. And I can see a lot of chat. I don't know if these are new questions or old. It's old, okay.
I have a question. So tarot, right? The energy, how does you're talking about finding these cards? Oh, can you hear me? I'm so sorry. Can you hear me?
One second, I'm going to wear my headphones.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you can talk.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I have a question, right? So these tarot cards, right? And you mentioned that you can find online tarot cards and you can pull up, right? Any question, right? Any card comes up, right? How does our energy, right? I mean, I think there is energy because of which we pull the physical tarot cards and they come up and then we can interpret them, right? I think that is how tarot works. I don't know, right? I mean, but how does it work online, right? I mean,
so online, it works based on intention, because setting an intention is also an energy, right? People set intentions for bringing peace in the world, different intentions, right? So it's all also about energy. So your energy is not only going through the touch, right? It's also going through your mind, it's going through your feelings, through your emotions, right? So before you're pulling a card online, you can think of your question. You can make sure that you meditate first. Like we went through a small, very simple meditation of just looking at our breath, right? Very simple, very centered. And once you do that, you are making sure that nothing else is in your energy, you're very centered, and then you ask the question, and then you can pull the card online. It will work the same way. I mean, I would love that if you would go buy cards and learn for yourself.
Right.
But I want to make this as easy. Like what I love about sharing tools is I love when people start taking actions. So I wanted from my perspective as a teacher is to make sure that you can use this tool without any barrier, right? So if barrier is getting cards right now, then that barrier can be taken off by just going online and looking at a card before your cards ship to you.
Yeah,
Right?
that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns?
Yeah, just an
Yeah.
extension of the previous question.
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
So when I have a question,
Okay.
is it important to pull the card right then, or can it be, or in other words, is the energy aligned at that point of time, or and that is one part to it, and can the question be asked by someone else, or it has to be the same person at the same time that has to pull the card?
Okay. So one thing is that you don't start pulling up. So one thing is that, yes, if you are in a particular energy and you need an answer, then that will be the most aligned reading if you pick up the card right that time. But if the cards are not available at that time, it's completely okay. You can wait and you can at that point be in that energy later on if you still have that doubt or that question. And you will still get the right reading. Basically, anytime you get the reading, it is for you because it's going to be aligned with your energy at that moment, right? So if there was a time when you had a question and you had that same question 3 days from then you are still in that same energy. It has not changed. So the cards are going to be similar. But the second part to your question is, can you read cards for anybody else? Not without their permission. So I believe a lot in permission. So I personally don't do this. And so if somebody comes and asks me that, hey, can you pull a card for my husband because he wants a job and this is how it is looking, but she has not asked her husband, then I will be very skeptical of reading cards for that person. Okay, so I want to make sure that we always are taking permission. Like anybody can read cards for anybody, but to do that you should take permission because that's the right thing to do.
Okay.
Because
I
then
mean,
you get into like a lot of energy related issues. So instead of that, you should just like make sure that you are in order to keep your integrity, your honesty, you do that for yourself. Is you make sure that if you're reading cards for somebody else, they know that if they are less than 18, they are your children, it's okay to read for them. If they're adults, you ask them.
Okay. But I mean, is asking just part of the etiquette, or it is? Does the answer? I mean, I'm
the
just trying
answer
to.
will not change. It will still give you answers. It's part of an etiquette that I follow.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Is there a trusted website for online cards? I like BD Tarot, BIDDYTAROT, and then tarot.com, TAROT.com. Will there be an advanced workshop on tarot reading? Maybe. I can talk to Vaibhavi and we can figure that out.
can we contact Sneha if there are more questions? Yes.
Yeah, of course you can contact. I think Vaibhavi and Shraddha do send some information to contact me after this, so you can do that.
Absolutely. Sneha, you want to put your information in the chat for like immediate so that folks have it? Maybe your phone number and an email address.
Sure, I can
And then
send my email address
I
and
want
then
to do it.
On WhatsApp, you can
Just in the chat for right now.
If you add me on WhatsApp, I will put you on my WhatsApp channel where I pull cards weekly for the collective. It's not personal cards, but we can talk about that if you email me.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, my number is wrong.
What we'll do is
I can't delete. I'm sorry, I put the wrong number in the first place, but the second number is correct.
yeah, I'm not able to delete it either. Sorry. Okay. So please make a note of Sneha's information. And we'll try and get the deck over as well as a recording that's hacker free. Sorry once again for that. No later than tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much, Sneha. This was insightful. The
Thank
funny
you.
part is you were talking about tarot, right? And my phone heard it. I immediately got an email about psychic reading. It's kind of interesting. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I hope that this was useful. I'm grateful for being here.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
also
thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of
Yeah,
Arva
it was
Yoga,
helpful.
a big thank you, Sneha.
Mhm.
This was
Yeah.
wonderful. This was at least my first understanding of tarot, and just blown away. I mean, all the tools that you have right there. Cannot wait to try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.